Good afternoon. My name is Adam Zeck. I'm the founder and CEO of UCX, the Universal Compute Exchange. With me is my partner and co-founder, who you might recognize from CNBC, Jack Bouroudjian.
I'm usually a lot taller on TV, guys. I'm the one that's usually yelling at Rick Santelli and Steve Leisman, but the best thing is that they're about an inch shorter than I am, so that's even good.
So I've been told I have 7 minutes, so I'm going to go as fast as furious as possible. The presentation I have, you're more than welcome to have it. Just email me and you can get it. So let's begin. CFOs hedge almost every aspect of the balance sheet today. Raw materials, currency exposure, interest rates, debt. Yet one of the largest, fastest growing, least understood portions of the balance sheet that they have no idea how to hedge is their financial IT expenditure. Why is this? It's because every CFO is asking the same questions. How much compute resources are my applications actually using, and at what cost? Do I have the ability to actually forecast that consumption over the course of a week, a month, a year? And do I have the ability, as my operations change, to be able to hedge that compute processing power?
It's one of the biggest unknowns at a boardroom. Having sat on a couple of publicly traded companies, we would argue ad nauseum over a $5–10 million expenditure. IT would come in with a $100 million expenditure for disaster recovery. We'd all look at each other and go, I guess we need this, and we would pass it. Really, it is absolutely unknown.
Peter Drucker said it simply: if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. We, UCX, want to help you measure, forecast, and hedge your IT financial risk exposure. UCX is an on-demand spot exchange that addresses the needs and risk of the digital generation. Our initial benchmark product is based on 6Fusion's Workload Allocation Cube that John Cowan discussed earlier, that turns compute processing power into a standard unit of measure. UCX licensed the exclusive, worldwide, perpetual, irrevocable rights to that algorithm to create financial products. But we're just not any exchange or any startup. We then took the next 2.5 years and we introduced, educated, and promoted WAC financial products to all the largest exchanges in the world, the ICE, the CME, the Deutsche Börse, the Toronto Exchange, in order to get their backing. In March of 2014, the CME provided us with a definitive agreement that they are going to provide us the support for the creation and the development of UCX. Not only that, to speed access to market, we've licensed from them a complete trading platform, but most importantly, in that 2.5 years, they did a tremendous amount of due diligence and realized the potential of a WAC financial product, that they licensed from us the ability to create, list, trade, settle, and clear WAC derivative products. So UCX will be the on-demand spot market for compute processing. The CME will trade the futures and options.
As a point of interest, as a former board member of the CME group, they have never done this before. In another day and age, when we were a membership organization, this would have been offered as another seat to the membership. But that's why this was a very unique type of structure that was created, and one that we're very, very proud of.
John talked about how the workload allocation cube is done, so I'm going to keep that brief. Basically, we took the algorithm, wrapped contract specifications around it in order to allow enterprises and cloud service providers to be able to trade the cloud. Why is this important? Now it gives the enterprise organizations the ability to have an apples-to-apples comparison in an open, transparent market. It also gives them the ability to, as their business change, to have that operational agility to buy and sell the needed amount of compute resources. And lastly, they are now able, instead of through an allocation-based model, be able to purchase and buy and sell their compute resources based on a consumption. Why do cloud service providers love this? They love this because of the fact that now they have a low cost of acquisition. They can go to an open market, basically every minute of every second of every day that they are not selling their compute processing power, it is perishing. So this gives them another sales channel. But also, they have the ability to now hedge their capital expenditures.
The response, by the way, we're getting from these initial players, and we are trading these products right now, is absolutely amazing. It's almost as if they're discovering a new limb because they're realizing what they have. And one thing that just to add to what Adam is saying, we do envision different silos and different types of WACs, and I'm sure he's going to get into that are specifically designed for the business world, for the financial world, for the HIPAA compliant world, and all of those, of course, are all measured by that same standard, the WAC. They'll just be running at different speeds, and they'll have different types of SLAs around them.
Market opportunity, this is going to go real quick. We look at it not only as the public cloud service market, but also the private and hybrid. The way we measure it through looking at IDC, Gartner, everybody's talking about how this is growing leaps and bounds. I'm just going to say, for brevity, the market is huge. And it's
188 billion, folks, is bigger than the grain market that we trade presently at the CME Group. I mean, that just puts it into perspective.
How does UC work? Basically, we're an exchange. So we have supply and demand that come to the marketplace. They go through a membership process. We go through the fiduciary responsibility, making sure that everybody's good. At that point, we provide them access to the trading platform. They have the ability to then buy and sell on an open market, go through price discovery, execute contracts, at which point, once that contract has been executed, that information is sent down to Six Fusion's delivery network that allows them to, at the same time, provide the counterparty trade ticket, but allows them to deliver that processing power over the term of the contract. So it is a fully deliverable product. This is a couple screenshots of snapshots of actually trading that is occurring. We have different multiple contracts, a West Coast WAC, an East Coast WAC, depending on where it's going to be delivered. This is an order being put in from our delivery platform, the execution of a trade ticket, and this is the actual delivery of that contract.
As we see these markets mature, by the way, we see a spread market that's developing between these various products, and of course the index arbitrage that'll be developed after we create the index off of the best one. So it's a very unique and model for the new age, I guess, is really the way to explain it.
Our business model, real quick. We're an exchange. We make money just like every other exchange. Transaction fees, membership fees, market data fees, and licensing fees. Example of licensing fee is we license for the next 20 years to the CME for them to create WAC futures products, and we receive a royalty and a revenue share off of that. What are our plans for the futures? Obviously, increase the volume of trade. We've just begun trading on February 25th, so our whole goal is to increase that massively.
The initial trades have been very successful, by the way, and again, the response has been tremendous.
Demand side membership, increase that, as well as we're going to be doing a global roadshow as well. Lastly, and I see you, Roger, I'm coming. Lastly is we have actually expanded because of Prime Minister Modi's mandate. We've actually partnered with an organization to basically start the India Compute Exchange. So we were going to provide WAC financial products and have that become the standard for trading in India.
We were with Prime Minister Modi at the Vibrant Gujarat Summit just a couple of months ago, and we were at a private dinner. He is very interested in what we're doing because they are really looking to centralize the cloud in India, and more importantly, they want to be the cloud service provider for all of the Pan-Asian hub. And more importantly for me, they're 12 hours apart from us, so now all of a sudden we have the beginning of what I consider to be, albeit a perishable, cyber currency.
Thank you. If anybody has any questions, feel free to contact me. And I'm done, Roger.
Who are the typical two sides of the trade? I mean, the typical companies that is offering capacity versus
So to give you an example of that, typical suppliers would be regular cloud service providers, AWS, Amazon, Azure, Google, Rackspace.
You're not going to get Jack's server in the basement, if that's what you're asking.
I mean,
they all have to follow a strict guideline.
Right.
It's fine.
And so the enterprise organizations are, Fortune 2,000 companies. To give you an example, I was at the GigaOM Structure Conference last June. Jamie Miller, the CTO of General Electric, came on and said basically, hey, they have 32 massive worldwide data centers. In 5 years, they're going to have 5. So they're moving 27 of those data centers into the cloud. This is a perfect platform for them to buy and sell.
So what I'm trying to understand is there is only so many providers. The big providers are well known, okay?
Absolutely.
So it's like 10 of them, okay? And if I am an IT, run IT for let's say a big company, I'm going to go to the same providers and strike a deal with them that's sort of advantageous to me, I guess. So I don't understand, in what situations does the exchange make sense?
The exchange makes sense in the way that if you look at, from an enterprise standpoint, to go to 10 to 15 different cloud service providers and try to understand, okay, what you're offering, because every one is different. Every instance that is being offered is different. So different amount of CPU, different amount of this, different amount of that.
Right.
So it makes it very difficult for an enterprise organization to go through the 15 or 20 different cloud service providers to understand where the true value is.
But the provider, are they offering stuff that maybe it's not?
There's a converter. So we can convert everything that the provider is offering into WAC units.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it's coming from Amazon, it doesn't matter if it's coming from Microsoft Azure. Everything is
But they're
converted.
typically using you because they have maybe an overcapacity in a certain area?
Either overcapacity or undercapacity. They might need it
Yeah.
because maybe they've actually found that they have a spike. A good example is Boeing. Boeing never realized that they were going to be a technology company. Now every engine they built spits out 1 terabyte worth of information on every trip. Now they find themselves in a situation where they don't know what to do. They are a perfect example of the end user that would go out there and purchase the actual consumption.
This is interesting. I'll let other people ask questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how are you driving market awareness and making sure you got adequate liquidity in the
We have
market?
the 1,000-pound gorilla. We've got the CME group behind us. And then, of course, we'll be doing quite a bit of promotion between my being on television and Adam doing his road show. You'll be hearing quite a bit of us over
So
the
this
course
is,
of the next
I will have to tell you, we were just in Chicago at the ITFM conference, spoke there. We've been asked to speak around the world. So we just started trading February 25th, so this is really our second big kind of announcement of who we are.
Yeah, we were contacted by Swift. We're also asked to go to Singapore to be a finalist.
Is there a minimum size, like if you're a buyer of
Yes.
services, there is a minimum size?
Yeah, again, we're not playing with Jack's Garage and those kind of things. So in order to be a member of the exchange, we go and vet you. So we're looking for companies that are purchasing anywhere between 50 to millions of dollars.
What's the minimum contract size, Adam?
Huh?
The minimum contract size? That's what I think it's.
Is that what you're asking? The minimum contract size?
On the buy side?
Yeah. It's 1 kilowatt?
It's 1 kilowatt.
1 kilowatt would mean 1 kilowatt per hour over the course of a day, over the course. You could basically buy it in increments, just like electricity, much like electricity is traded
I
today.
apologize. I didn't understand your question.
What are the regulatory concerns that keep you guys up at night?
We're non-exempt.
We
as far
are
as the CFTC
we're an ECM right now, an exempt commercial market, and with the backing and support of the CME, one of their biggest jobs is to make sure that we are created successfully. And so they're walking us through how to make sure that happens, because where they see the end game is the creation of that futures contract.
Yeah, they're looking 5 years down
They want
the
to
road.
make sure we are properly set up.
They see this as the largest futures contract they'll be trading in another decade, and I could see why.
And out of your 4-tiered revenue model, do you envision this becoming kind of a traditional exchange piece where the transaction fees are going to represent a majority of the growth, or is there another lever you think there that's...
I think two, the transaction fee, obviously, but also the licensing agreements. I mean, we've already licensed this to the India exchange. There was a tremendous upside there, as well as we value the ability to create not only WAC financial products, but we're an exchange. We're already in negotiations with people in order to possibly trade Bitcoins and other digital currencies. So it's not just
A wax
financial
exchange.
products. We are starting there.
Think of anything that can be commoditized, whether it be excess microwave capacity, satellite time. Anything in the digital age is really what this is for. Again, going back to what I said, this would have been a membership that was offered to the existing membership back in the old days. Now what the CME has done is created a new exchange around our concept.
The CME sees us as really an accelerator, an incubator for a lot of their future products to come. Sorry.
All right, guys.
We kind of went over.
Thank
No,
you.
that's good. Yeah, after 4 presenters and 50 some odd minutes, I finally found out where the time clock was. I should have been back here, not sitting down there.
How about it?
But that's all right.
Thank
you guys
you.
did a great
Thank you.
job. Thanks. Just figured that out.
This is an